What's good, guys? This is Nightwing2303 from WearTesters.com. The Kyrie 5, I'm looking at him right over here. They were unveiled this morning. We've seen him play in them before. This dude straight up cooked the entire Detroit Pistons lineup. Did you see that? Oh man, it was amazing. Kyrie is amazing. You know how they depict Quicksilvers in the X-Men franchise? Not Avengers Quicksilver, but like X-Men Quicksilver, where like everything slows down.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's what it looks like Kyrie's doing to everybody. I'm gonna insert this clip right here.
Here come the Celtics. Kyrie Irving behind the back and then off the high glass, and he hits it.
To me, I feel like he's underrated, even now, and it's just weird. But we're on the 5th model, and I mean, these things look dope, dude. So we're gonna talk about them, and we're gonna tell you what I think about them, break down some of the new tech features that's in the shoe, and then we're also gonna take it to Instagram, because I don't think there's enough comments on WearTesters.com right now, because we just published this thing, so I only saw 2 comments. So we're gonna go to Instagram instead and see what people are thinking. But the traction on these things looks amazing. That's one thing that you can always count on with the Kyrie model, because the dude is so shifty. The guy needs traction. He starts and stops on a dime, and he does it multiple times within one play, like in this clip where he juked everybody. It was so funny, man. One dude even went on his ass. And I was like, yo, I'm done, dude. Like, this Kyrie's awesome. But the outsole looks awesome. I think it's really cool that they're still playing up on the whole wrapping traction around the foot, but they're still able to do it visually a little bit differently each time, which I think is super important because it shows the evolution of the line from the 1 all the way to the 5 now. They have similar design features, but they're all doing it a little bit differently than the other ones. So I think that it's super cool to see that. The Zoom Air unit is something that really intrigues me because it's in the forefoot this time. Last year was the first time we actually had like forefoot cushion and heel cushion, but the heel cushion remained to be Zoom Air, and then the forefoot was Cushlon. We haven't seen Zoom in the forefoot of a Kyrie since the 1, and even then it was one of those cheap little like rectangle bags. This one actually encompasses the entire forefoot section of the shoe, which I think is awesome. And it's this newly designed articulated unit, which looks kind of weird. So the way that it's articulated is kind of like folding a piece of paper up. It is what it reminds me of anyway, so that you can like maneuver it in any way that the foot is moving, because the outsole is still going to be rounded. So that's what it looks like they've done with this Zoom Air unit. They've allowed it to be able to move and shift in any direction without it having too much pressure on it so that it would pop. One thing that I am a little bit concerned about though is that it does not look like a very thick Zoom unit, so I am wondering how thick it actually is. Is it going to be like only a few millimeters? Is it going to be like 5 millimeters? I think the standard size for a Zoom Air unit is about 6 to 8. Like those are like the new standards for them. And then like a large volume, what they consider large volume, is usually 10 and more. So it'll be interesting to see what type of Zoom Air unit it is. They have not discussed that in the press release, so I'm definitely curious. And then we do not know what the carrier foam is. It wasn't mentioned in the press release that I saw anyways. Let me double check. Yep, didn't mention what type of foam it was, so I do not think that it's going to be Cushlon. Otherwise, I do feel that they would be promoting that. So what we might be having is another firm Phylon carrier. I really hope that you can feel the zoom though. So the lacing system features this new lockdown system that has been inspired by the Venus flytrap. Some people are kind of confused as to how it's actually going to work, and the best thing that I can explain is with this little hair clip thing that is courtesy of Mrs. Wing over there. So basically, you're going to be sticking your foot inside the shoe, and then that wrap is going to clamp down on the top of your foot, and then you have laces at each of these little teeth areas, and so those are going to be customizable, which I think is great. That's the one thing that I love about traditional lacing systems. I think that the Air Jordan 33 and what it did was awesome, but nothing beats being able to, you know, tighten or loosen certain sections of your sneaker, because your foot is not like the same shape as everyone else's, you know what I mean? So I think it's nice that you can actually do that, and what it's going to do is clamp this area down right on top of your foot, make sure that that forefoot area is locked down. I think that it looks great, and I can't wait to actually try it out, because I like the way that shoes feel when they sit on top of your foot like that. That's the one thing when I talk about dead space or volume above my foot, that's exactly what I'm explaining or trying to explain, is that I do not like it when my foot and the shoe have space in between it. I like everything to feel like kind of like a sock, almost like compression, and that's what this type of lacing system should provide. Everything else is pretty basic. It looks very similar to what we saw last year on the Kyrie 4. The mesh mesh upper looks very similar, if not identical. You've got some fly wire in there. You've got a molded heel counter. And then again, you have that rounded outsole, which I'm not really a fan of. They have been lessening the roundedness or whatever. This guy, again, it doesn't look like it's super rounded or anything like that, so I'm hoping that it feels great. And again, I really hope that you can feel the zoom. That's the one thing I'm actually concerned about, because I think that if they make the zoom too bouncy, it's going to be lessening that court feel that Kyrie likes. So I think this Zoom Air unit is to appease us as consumers versus really pleasing Kyrie personally as a player.
Wouldn't his then be molded differently?
It could be modified, and that's like high profile athletes, especially under Nike, they will have like custom shoes, which is not unheard of. But Kyrie very much like Steph is known to kind of like minimal setups. So there was one time when Kyrie had like a hyperdunk change from lunar to zoom because he likes the zoom more than lunar, but that does not mean that he likes zoom more than feeling low. You know what I mean? So I think this might be a little bit of both. I think it might be pleasing us as consumers because we see like, oh, they're promoting that there's 4-foot cushion, which is something the shoe has been known to lack over the past few years. And so it'll trick a normal person because they see it. And so they're gonna be like, oh yeah, it's there, it's great. You know what I mean? And that same person, you can tell them that it's in there, but you can actually remove it from the shoe and they'll still tell you that the shoe feels great. Because
placebo effect?
Correct, yeah, it's that placebo effect because they still think that it's in there. Whereas me, like I've felt every type of zoom iteration that there is, so I will know whether or not zoom is there, whether or not you can feel it, all that stuff. So I'm just curious like how it's going to feel, because that is something new. Like we have not had a Zoom Air unit like this before, which is interesting, I think, because if there's one thing, like people always say like oh blah 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 outdated, and I'm just like, dude, like if you just think for just a second, like they've been using Zoom Air since 95. It's proven. It's not outdated if it still is present in today's footwear, and it gets the job done better than, in my opinion, anything else. When Zoom Air is done right, Zoom Air is awesome. It's the best feeling ever, man. You have not tried it? Yeah, because you wear kids shoes, like kids size, so they take out the tech. That sucks. You have not felt the good stuff. We're gonna take things over to Instagram and see what you guys think, and then I'm gonna give you my thoughts on your thoughts, because that's fun. Yummy Jean, that's a weird name. He says, and looking forward to the performance review before copying them, followed by a few emojis. Unfortunately, Nike doesn't really like me, so you guys are gonna have to wait until the shoe releases for me to buy them, so I apologize about that. But once I do grab a pair, I think that they release on November 22nd here in the States, which is a very soon, like that's like, normally they kind of like unveil and they're like, oh yeah, next month they're coming, but no, it's like in a couple of weeks, these things are gonna be out. So as soon as I can get a pair, I'll give you guys like first impression, like in-hand look, along with the performance review after I played in them after a few weeks. Jake.0 says these look like a better Kyrie 4, and that's something that I definitely agree with. I don't know about better, but it looks like an evolution from the Kyrie 4, which I feel the Kyrie 3, like the Kyrie 4, you could see aspects of it and so on and so forth. So I love when signature lines showcase evolution, especially with tech. This one being the 4-foot implementation of zoom, curved zoom, or articulated, whatever you want to call it, like folded paper zoom and all that stuff. So I think it's really dope, and I'm excited to play in them. I like that they're coming out with like similar colorways. That's the main thing that I like, because I love consistency within a line. I don't like it when they start mixing things up. Like when you like a colorway, you just want to get it. So like when you were like a Bulls fan back in the day with Jordan, you can always expect white and red, or a white and black, like a taxi kind of look, stuff like that, black and red. So I like that they are doing this like simple black white with the speckled midsole. I think that they look cool. MJ is God says, I'm kind of liking how they aren't going too far off from previous designs. I remember when shoe lines used to evolve. These days they completely try to reinvent with each year, that they don't implement what worked in the previous model. I just talked about that, but I completely agree. I like it when you can pick things that were on the previous model, like you could visually see them, especially when they're taking things that work. It's a bummer that the traction is a little bit different in terms of pattern, because I did like the way that the Kyrie 4's traction did perform after it broke in. So I'm hoping that this one is equal traction, if not better. But that's the only thing that I'm kind of like bummed about. Everything else though looks very similar. The materials, like I was saying, the curvature of the sole, the implementation of 4-foot zoom, I think is a good touch. So I think that this is dope. Everybody's pretty much saying the same thing. They're either liking that they evolved or they look too much like the previous model. So I don't know if I want to keep going. This one's actually interesting. I don't know what the hell his name is. Porto Jorsam 23, I don't know. But he says that he can't wait to play in these because he found the 4s to be a letdown. awesome. And the traction is what he's most interested in. And I think that that's very interesting because I love the 4s. I think that the 4s are probably like my favorite of the Kyrie models. Not the best in terms of traction, but I do think that they're the overall best shoe, like the most well-rounded. I'm curious to know if maybe it was the traction that you did not like. I'm definitely interested. So if you want to elaborate in the comment section, I'd love to hear from you. Everybody's saying the same where they look like the previous model, and some people are cool with that, some people are not. Again, I don't think that they visually look like the previous model other than very minor design cues, which I think showcases more so evolution than a direct, like, you know, like derivative copy or whatever. What do you think about the Kyries? This is not a good picture.
Because it's all taken apart.
I love the exploded views. Like, that's like,
no, it's a good visual.
my jam. Yeah, so what do you think about those? Do you think it looks too much like the Kyrie 4 or no?
No, because I like how the Kyrie 4 looks.
That's not the question.
But
do they look too much like the Kyrie 4? I know that you like the Kyrie 4, but do they look like the Kyrie 4 too much? To me, they look like a completely different shoe. I don't know if it's the colorway that's fooling people. You know what I mean? That black-white look.
I think you'll be able to like walk in and be like, oh, look, it's the new Kyrie. Like,
exactly. Yeah, I don't know what people are looking at. I don't know if it's that one peak that's on the outsole. In the middle. I don't see what other people are complaining about.
I don't remember if it was MJ is God that said it, but it's nice that they're not completely reinventing the wheel. You don't have to do that with every new shoe.
You're not supposed to do that with a signature line.
Right.
That's why I think it's so weird when people get so like pissy about it.
If you're still using this name, but it's the next version, it should be the next version.
Yeah, it should be.
You're evolving.
Exactly. Just like a player would, just like a person would, like, you know what I mean? So I think that what they do is proper, you know? Like I don't understand the reason to complain. Like why like the thing is that if they do something because you're never going to please everybody. This one person is saying it looks too much like this shoe, like previous shoe, and then if you were to change it completely, that same person would be like, it doesn't even look like a Kyrie.
Right.
And then
so
you're
if you
like,
love the Kyrie 4, be excited to see what they did to tweak it to make it the fifth.
that's the thing. So like a Protro almost, like this shoe, like they're tweaking the stuff that you can't see. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's great. Like if you're gonna leave the aesthetics looking similar because it carries on a design language, which is what a line is supposed to do, but the interior is what changes. That's what I don't like about the 2 and the 3, is that the 2 and the 3 are essentially the same shoe. They just tweak the uppers just a little bit. You know what I mean? The midsoles, the cushioning system implementation, everything was very much the same.
Right.
And I didn't like that. And then when they went to the 4, they completely went away from what they did in the 2 and the 3, and they split that outsole. They implemented Cushlon. They gave you like a better feeling upper. Like the upper didn't feel like hard plastic glued to the back of mesh. I hate it when Nike does that. But yeah, I think that they look awesome. I think they look really awesome. They look cool. I don't know about casual use because that fly trap cover is on the top of the shoe, but it kind of
be able to wear it all loose like you like to do.
Probably not, because like it reminds me of like the strap that's on that Kyrie low a little bit, but it's not a strap.
No.
You know, so like I wouldn't want something flapping like that. But those are our thoughts as well as some of yours on the Nike Kyrie 5. I'm super excited to play in these things. I can't wait till they release, which we don't have to wait very long. Again, it's going to be on the 22nd of November. Let me see if they said the retail price. I didn't even read that. Man, I hate when they do that. They did not put the retail price. Let me see one more thing, because I think I saw them on Foot Locker's calendar. Okay, so $130 is going to be the retail price. I think that's more than last year. Was the Kyrie 4 $120? Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, the Nike Kyrie 4 retails at $120, so we got a $10 price increase. That sucks. It's not a huge price increase, but it does suck. But we got 4-foot Zoom Air, so that's at least a plus. I'll pay $10 for that if it works. If it doesn't work, I'm going to be bummed out. But you know, we'll just have to wait and see. Sound off below. Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. We appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate all of you guys' support. So until next time, guys, have a good one.